Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another Supatease video. And in this one, I'm going through a run through of the Assassination Rogue and everything so far for Shadowlands and its release. So if you are new to the board here for World of Warcraft and what you're wondering is going to be happening, the main thing to take into account for the classes is that a lot of abilities are now baseline to the class rather than specifically to a spec. So Assassination Rogue definitely benefited from getting a couple of these. Some that don't stand out at the moment from my testing are things like ambush being so energy heavy, at least in PvP. It seemed difficult to utilize. I would use it against players who are running the Fleshcraft shield, which is important that you remove before engaging crowd control because they are likely making it make themselves immune to crowd control. So you can use it to try and break off shields at the start of a fight if you know that immunity is what you're going to be working around. Another ability to return baseline is Slice and Dice, which when I was getting some 3v3 testing, I was utilizing, but in these kind of quick little skirmish matches that you're getting a lot of the time, it didn't seem really worth the combo points. But I can imagine maintaining this will be important in 3v3 and some of the longer fights that you get to. At the moment, I wasn't able to get wound poison. You can see it's at the trainer, but I wasn't able to train it. So I'm wondering if that's just a bug. Hopefully it is just a bug. But at the moment, I wasn't able to play with wound poison. So you just want to take that into account. And, you know, at the start, I said Assassination Rogue gets to benefit from all the spells going rogue wide. It's really only Shiv and Slice and Dice. And to me, Shiv functions a little bit more so like Toxic Blade. It's like a combination of Shiv and Toxic Blade. It's definitely a potent swing of damage you're going to want to pay attention to outside of your Vendetta window. But if you have been playing Assassination Rogue, it functions very similarly to the Toxic Blade. In my specific testing, I decided to go with the Necrolord Covenant. I wanted to benefit from immunity to crowd control during Fleshcraft here, as you can see. And also, Serrated Bone Spike is absolutely crazy in terms of its damage. So if you just read the tooltip, your eyes start to pop a bit. You embed a bone spike in the target, dealing 761 bleed damage every 3 seconds until they die. That means it's permanent. I think you might be the only class in the game with a permanent dot. It also has a 30-yard range, so it's a ranged dot. Deals 761 damage and generates 1 combo point per active bone spike. So if you start to just spread this to as many targets as you can in 3v3, you probably be around 3, maybe 4. You can start making bone spike generate 4 combo points and get massive envenoms or spread rupture onto multiple targets. It's easily the most insane ability right now in the game across all of the rogue specs, maybe across all classes. To me, it stands out as the most insane ability. So I would imagine that it gets nerfed in PvP to some degree with how it's functioning at the moment. So perhaps you don't want to fully rely on it. But if you are going to go Necrolords, and let's say it doesn't get hit too hard or it doesn't get hit hard at all, I was trying to run a build that was based around bleeds. So I was going back to that old Exsanguinate where it just makes your bleeds tick faster. And I was running a legendary that makes my Mutilate deal additional damage as a bleed. And my main focus was just to get all of my dots up, my Garrote, my Rupture, my Serrated Blade onto as many targets as I can, and then go for big Exsanguinates in my kidney shot. You could run internal bleeding, the main reason with this build that I did, but I was mostly going Prey on the Weak just to benefit my Serrated Blade damage because it is so heavy at the moment. Unfortunately for Assassination Rogues, we're not getting any new honor talents. So there's nothing really to look forward to in terms of new honor talents. If you enjoyed BFA Rogue, you'll still continue to enjoy Shadowlands Rogue. It's still very similar. There's a bit of extra playability in terms of your combo point management, so it's a little bit more dexterous. Like I say, with Slice and Dice coming back and basically baseline Toxic Blade / Shiv. So there's definitely a little bit of a higher skill cap for Assassination Rogue, but it's mostly the Covenant abilities that you're going to be looking forward to in terms of new and exciting things to the class specifically. Now, some of the other Covenant abilities that stood out to me was the Night Fae one, Sepsis. So you basically apply a dot for 10 seconds, and after that, if the target doesn't die, you'll vanish. And obviously, as a rogue, you'll be running Subterfuge in PvP, and as an Assassination Rogue, you really benefit from this because it means your Garrote will deal 80% increased damage. So if you do run Night Fae, you'll be vanishing, not only just being untargetable, basically every 30 seconds, because I also believe it reduces the cooldown when your target doesn't die to it. So you could be vanishing like every 30 seconds, I believe, and you'll be able to get these massive garrotes onto multiple targets, silence players, and potentially run an Iron Wire build or go for a garrote build if you're going to be doing that. So there could be some interesting builds in terms of the legendaries and in terms of combinations with the Covenant abilities. You can also try and run a 2-target cleave build where you can use Shiv here with this legendary to redirect your poisons and bleeds to a nearby target. It's almost kind of like a soul swap for bleeds and poisons. It could be really good, but it would only be situationally good, so it might not be the best first legendary to go to. It needs 2 targets nearby. Another option would be just the cooldown reduction legendary here. So the remaining cooldown of your Vinda is reduced by 1 second for every 65 energy you expend. This also enables other talents that you potentially don't take, something like Venom Rush, trying to get some extra energy built out of this to benefit from the legendary. You could run with the Kyrian Covenant, which sort of alters your combo point management, try and pair it up with a deeper stratagem build and go for it. There's basically a couple of different combinations between the Covenants and the talents that you're going to want to be trying out, and I'm going to be trying out. There's likely going to be one that just ends up being the best, as it is in all cases. But as it stands right now, there is a lot of like experimenting that could be done in terms of the build, even though the playability of the spec is still retaining a lot of what it already had. So not much in terms of new and exciting things, just more so in Shadowlands. It's gonna be a solid spec. It's gonna work similarly to what you expect, and you definitely want to keep your eyes out on potentially new builds. And at the moment, Serrated Bone Spike is easily your best choice here. It's just maxed out damage. Although you still could consider Kyrian for stun reduction when you're standing still long enough. So kidney shots on yourself, try and outplay rogues by standing still deliberately, could be an option for you. Or if you want to go for an ultra aggressive Night Fae build and benefit from Subterfuge, that's an option. Venthyr would make you tankier. It's a poison that heals you. You might try a leeching poison build. Potentially, if it does enough healing, you might be unkillable. Who knows, really, with the leeching poison in combination. So we might have an immortality rogue build if that's the case, and I'll be looking into it. But those are basically your options and what you should expect so far for the Assassination Rogue moving into Shadowlands. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like if you did, and comment down below as to what you're excited about for Shadowlands and what you'd like to see for Rogue. Please subscribe to the channel so you'll be notified when I'm going live here. I'm making videos every day on as many specs as I can get my hands on, and I'm also streaming at twitch.tv/Supatease. So if you want to see the gameplay all live and my reactions to it, that's where you're going to be finding it. And we'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Good night.